What's going on, guys? It is about 10 o'clock on a Friday, and I just got an interesting email probably an hour or two ago from a good client of mine asking me to do some research on a car. And sure enough, I actually got another email from him with a plane ticket. So tomorrow morning, I'm flying out to Pittsburgh for the day to go look and do a PPI, or pre-purchase inspection, on a Ford GT. And I'm pretty excited. And one of the reasons is I'm a Ford GT crazy person. I actually just have this book, you know, in my bookshelf there. So I'm gonna do some reading on the plane to brush up on it. But I have a pretty unique story with Ford GT. At my old detail shop, one of my good customers went away to Europe for multiple months on end and asked me the horrible favor to care for his Ford GT over a 3-month period. So I had to drive it every day, which was torturous. No, I'm kidding. It was it's amazing. I love the car, and there's lots of things you need to do to it. You got to make sure it's trickle charge. You got to drive it a whole lot. Got to check up on it. So I have a pretty good history with it. So I'm happy to go out for this friend and customer and check over the car, and I'll bring you guys along because it'd be pretty fun. But I just wanted to show you some of the realistic things. You know, we did that drive clean video, and you know, I think, you know, maybe sometimes, do they really do that or not? In reality, I definitely do that. So I want to show you here. I printed off. I mean, I've been doing research all day long, but so tomorrow I'll have my pre-purchase inspection. I don't know if you can see that. Basically, I've printed off the same thing that I have available on the website. So, I mean, it's legit. Then I printed off, this is my ticket. Then I printed off a bunch of quote issues that are kind of standard across the board with Ford GTs. So I've printed those out. I'm gonna read those again on the plane, just kind of get myself ready. So when I go see the car, I'm not gonna just like walk around and look and go, oh, this looks nice. We're gonna go through a whole thing, looking at the paint, the interior, how the doors close. The gauges have some issues on Ford GTs. A lot of Ford GT guys will know that. I want to be able to take the pan down, but I'm going to a Porsche dealership, so I'm trying to figure out how to do that because they may not be able to pick the car up like a Ford dealership might. So there's all these little nuances that are kind of interesting. The point of the story is I'm researching. You can see online. I have pictures. I'm reading about it, double checking, figuring all that stuff out, just so when I get there, we'll have a lot of information to go over. So it's going to be a fun trip. Let's go for a plane ride. Alright, so I'm at my connecting flight. I'm in Philadelphia. I just wanted to show you a few things that I actually brought with me for the inspection. So here you go. Right off the bat, I have my big camera. I got to take photos and you know, video for the customer. And I'll get specific. This is a Canon T2i with a big Sigma DC lens on it. I have my towels, you know, just if I'm checking the oil. I have a bunch of gloves. Right, keep my hands somewhat clean. I have my microscope right here. I'm going to put it into my laptop, which I'll show you in a second. So it's black paint. It's a black Ford GT. So I need some wires and chargers. I have my Brinkman. Do that because it's black paint again. Let's go in this drawer right here. This one's probably the most important. This is just a flashlight. And then I have my paint depth gauge right here. Let's see. I have my lunch. I have my naked drink there. What else do I have? Oh yeah, and then I have, more importantly, I have my computer. Right there. And I have all my information that I'm going to use to double check everything. So I write notes beforehand and say, hey, I need to look at the gas cap, I need to look at the gauges and things like that. So once I get there, I can do what I need to do and then get out. So that's a few of the things that I brought. Next step is get to the actual Porsche dealership and take a look at the car.
Yeah, that's somewhere. It's right there.
All right, so I made it here. I'm in Pittsburgh right now, and we're at the Auto Palace, which is the Porsche place, and we're gonna go in and take a look. For now, let's just take a look inside the windows. Nice Porsches. Some nice ones there too. All right, let's go inside and take a look. Well guys, I'm here, and obviously this is a Ford GT in black. I left early this morning at about 7 o'clock. I'm here about 11:15 in Pittsburgh. We're gonna run through the car and I'll do everything I can to keep the camera rolling, but I do have to prepare this. I have a whole documentation that I need to go through, so we'll try to grab the camera and walk around and take some overviews, and you guys can help me give your opinion on the car. So let me grab the camera and show you. So far, so good. I mean, paint looks halfway decent. Obviously, there's lots of things to go over here. And when I find some concerns, as I most likely will, I will get the camera and show you. All right, so right off the bat, let's just talk about this. With a little bit of research, you can find what original make tires these vehicles came with, and of course they came with the Eagle 1s, or the F1s, and the Goodyear Eagle F1, excuse me. And what's interesting to note is when these are changed, and you can see there's some pretty good tread still on there. So when these get changed, that's an indication of, hey, has somebody driven it like crazy and smoked the tires, that kind of thing. And a lot of times what guys are doing now is they're putting their Bridgestones back on here, which is kind of ironic because the Bridgestones that they put on there are called Scuderias, which, if anyone knows anything about the Ford history, in 66 and 67, specifically 66, they came in 1, 2, 3 in the 24-hour Le Mans and was considered the Ferrari killer. And then ironically now they have, the wheels for Scuderia. Kind of funny. Anyways, maybe I think it's just funny. So let me do some work here, and then I'll get back to you guys and show you what I find. Among the many tests I'm doing, I like to start off with my paint depth gauge first, just to get a feel of what's going on here and notice any obvious issues. But the moral of the story is here, I've already done it, and there really isn't any issues or major issues, but I wanted to show you something kind of interesting. So the inside, remember we open up the door and do the inside of the frame? All right. That's giving me a pretty consistent reading of 5 to 8, right? And now I come up here, I'm gonna do the back of the car. It's telling me 34. And I've noticed consistently there is anywhere between 3 to 9 mils around the car, which is consistent, meaning its inconsistency is consistent for my brain, meaning I know it's kind of the way that Ford has painted this car, so it's not like a Bentley or a Rolls Royce where it's going to be pretty, the fluctuation is going to be a little bit less. But what I did find interesting here is that towards the back of this panel, even all the way across, I mean, it's showing 34, which would sometimes indicate a repaint, but I need to think about it more. Right now, I'm not seeing anything super suspicious, but again, I just wanted to show you the steps that I'm going through to measure the difference between what's going on in the paint. So the bonnet is good, the nose is pretty good, all relatively consistent, even though it is, in theory, inconsistent. That's, in my mind, kind of normal for this type of car. So keep going. I'll try to film as much as I possibly can, but I gotta keep moving. The salesman, he made me aware of something that I missed. If you look at that, doesn't it look like a chip right there? But in reality, it's actually not. It's just a really bad clear bra job, which is okay, and there's a bunch of gunk and all kinds of things in there. Because when I stepped back and I looked at it, he was very helpful and made it, see on this side too, see that right there? It looks like it's another chip from here. See that? It's actually not. It's just a very odd clear bra job that it's so hard to see, but after picking at it a little bit with my finger, this white part, which I'll take the light away. See this light part? This light part is just actually the clear bra raised. It's still annoying nonetheless, but I'll take annoying over hit any day of the week. So that was super helpful. And I want to show you something else too now that the camera's on. This is more just OCD annoying. See the cut of the clear bra? See how it's not flat with the opening? This is the trunk, by the way, the front. And I'll take a look at this one. See that one's perfectly cut? There's swirls and whatnot, but of course it got to be detailed. But you see how this is like beautifully shaped within this curve? See, it's a cutout for the front of it, and this one here. Again, not a big deal. That's just enough to drive all of you who are watching this video insane. This side over here needs to be a little bit longer, and this side over here needs to be a little bit shorter. But we're being nitpicky, but that's the whole idea of buying a $250,000 car like this. And now we're on the inside of the car, and for the record, the outside looked pretty good. I would call it a 9 or 9.5 out of 10. I mean, it's not going to be a 10 because it's not a show car, but it certainly looks good. So you have normal kick panel issues. I wouldn't call that abnormal by any means. You have some wear and tear on the seats, kind of normal. And one of the funny things is these, if you listen, it's actually pretty hard. So I know a lot of GT owners were like, oh man, this is a weird seat. Get used to it after a while, but there is, look, as opposed to, so there's plastic in there, which is kind of goofy, but this is a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world either. Let me take that off, see if the light can catch that. It's too bright. See that there? There's a little nick right here. Hopefully it's picking it up in the light. And it's some weird rub marks here that I tried to get off, but you can always just see on the plastic. You can, you know, cover that up at some point, but that's just, other than that, there's not a whole lot of weirdness going on. I did notice this, but I'm sure it's nothing. It's just kind of strange, that's all. And I see it's all white right there, but it comes right off, so it's not a big deal. I just never seen it before, and I've done these a few times. So you learn something every time. All right, so I'm gonna keep working on the interior for a little bit, but nothing abnormal. And then we're going to go for a ride. Now I made my way over to the passenger side just to double check everything. And it's pretty cool. I found the original sticker on this guy here, which is a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. I found a few other little tidbits, no deal breakers by any means. But you see down there, try to do it without blinding, you see down there, there's a bunch of scratches. This black line right there, I tried getting it off really quickly with my nail and it didn't come off. I'm sure it'll come off, but something to think about. This is the only kind of annoying thing I found is this where you can keep, you know, your books and all that kind of thing, because there's really no glove box. This is supposed to be up like this. If you look real close, the pieces have broken off. See the edges there? Again, not a big deal, but it looks like somebody tried to glue it or whatever. A little piece of glue in there, but yeah, see a little piece of glue over there too. Not the end of the world. Other than that, looks pretty good. Door looks good. Minor little scratches right there, but nothing crazy. Same little white gunk, but that comes off. I don't know. I'm just more interested because I want to know what that is. But looks good. Now it's time to check the gas filler. And the way you open up the gas is you got to put a key in here and pull that lever, and this will pop up. Now, if I didn't research or talk to some of my own, you know, the friends that I have that own these, you'd notice that this cap, this special fill protection there, sometimes gets stuck, but this one seems to be working good. Just the little things that research will help you kind of uncover and get yourself a nice car. Pretty good search on the interior. It looks good. The gauges actually function. We need to take them out for a drive, obviously, to get the full idea here, but if you listen to the top charger here, that little clicking, that's actually normal. That's just the screws making a little noise. It's pretty consistent. Everything else looks good. There was no oil down here. So I looked all the way down on the bottom of the pan. Down here. And it looks pretty good. relatively clean, meaning no oil. No oil on the shocks here. So one thing you want to look for, wait for the camera to go, is to make sure that these plastic rings haven't burnt off. A lot of times the upper parts here will get real kind of squirrely. There's a lot of heat coming out. Other than that, it looks pretty good. From this side, it's dirty, but dirty is okay for now. Overall, guys, the car looked pretty good. I was expecting to find a few more things here and there because I like to kind of open everything up and really investigate. Of course, there's a few things and little things on the inside, but nothing really to freak out about. The last thing we need to do is go for a ride and test various other things, like I'll hit the brake and take my hands off the steering wheel, you know, carefully, and feel the suspension, the alignments, feel the tires. I have a little bit of experience with these cars, so you can kind of tell right off the bat. And other than any major catastrophe, it feels pretty good. So we'll do a quick rundown before we leave, and we'll go over my final notes, and we'll go from there. Stops nice and straight, which is a good thing. Pull strong. But man, there is zero visibility in this car. Guess everybody's just supposed to see you. All right, so overall, the air conditioning blows really cold, which is nice. Takes a little getting used to. The seats are always really rough. That guy just ran a red light, which was interesting. So I'm going to put this down because people are running red lights in Pittsburgh. So I'm on my way home. Clearly I'm on the airplane. I left Pittsburgh. I had a stop in Philly, and now from Philly I'm going back to Westchester, New York. I have my list of everything that needed to be looked at with the car. And I think overall I'm going to give the green light, the thumbs up for the car. But because we couldn't put it up on a lift, you know, usually when I do this it's at a Ford dealership, and they have the right equipment to lift it. At this particular place they didn't, so we stressed not to do that. What I'm going to recommend to the buyer is that he take it to a Ford dealership, meaning the dealership takes it to a Ford dealership because he lives very far away, and take the bottom, the pans off of it and check for any leaking. I checked, but you want to be able to pull that pan down. The second thing I recommend is he gets an ECU check, make sure there's no codes or anything written on there that may be some issues. I didn't have that. Usually when I go to a Ford dealership, we can scan it right there and make sure, and I can verify that it's okay. The other thing that you want to do is you want to pop the wheels off and really inspect them, but it's very open, so I think everything I saw looked pretty good. Overall, I mean, tiny little things that are not really an issue, but something to take note of. There's a little scuff on the interior right on the center console that was kind of annoying, and there were some like streaks and things inside the glass, which wasn't a big deal. You'd have to, not the glass, the headlights, the lens covers, so you'd have to pull that out and blow it out with some compressed air and it'll come out. That's more OCD, but overall the car was in fantastic condition, and I'm recommending that he purchase it also because the values of these cars are skyrocketing and he's not going to lose on it. overall, great stuff. I'm glad I could take you guys around with me. If you have any questions, shoot me an email at larry@ammonyc.com. For now, I want to get back because I've been on 4 planes today. I was on the ground for 2.5 hours. So I've been running around all over the place, and it's Saturday. I want to go home and relax a little bit and watch a football game tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Home sweet home.